Hello, hello. It's Kationyekere, your aura alchemist, your soul mastery teacher, soul guy, blah 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 blah. Today I want to talk about loyalty and desire. My goal is to make this a short message. I think it's a valuable one for all. Let's start with desire. Your desire is sacred. Your desire is part of your blueprint. Your desire is divinely designed. And your desire is proof that you can have what you want. Your desire is the proof that what you want already exists and that it's yours to bring to the world. You are the steward of that desire. Your desires matter. Having said all that and reminding you of all that, these sacred, soulful desires that are meant to lead you towards purpose. They have just as much value as anything else. How loyal are you to that desire in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your imagination? How often do you rehearse the fulfillment of your desires? How often do you tend to them? And how often are you connecting to the desire instead of the tension of not having it and the fear of disappointment and all of the beliefs and all of the stuff that's standing in the way from you really building a quantum clear connection with that desire? Something that I like to do with my students and clients is I talk to them about uncensoring their desire, because oftentimes people avoid the really big desires, the really big scary ones, because it doesn't feel good, right? Because it triggers all of the belief stuff, all of the inner work gunk, the anxiety, right? It's very confrontational. It brings up all the stuff that they've been avoiding and all the stuff that they're putting in front of their desire. So a lot of people sometimes have this idea that this desire hurts. That's not desire. That means that instead of connecting to the desire, you're connecting to the limited beliefs, the tension, the disappointment, and all that stuff, all of that gunk that's actually revealing to you exactly what does need to be cleared in order for that desire to come forward. And yet, even still, the reason why I called this loyalty and desire is because something that I found incredibly effective is that instead of fighting with all your limiting beliefs and instead of fighting with all of the fears and getting lost in the shoulds and whatever else, all the gunky stuff, I have found that the simplest thing is, instead of fighting with all your limitations, is to just practice loyalty to your desires in your thought, in your deed, in your word. Loyalty with your time, loyalty with your attention, loyalty with the way you talk about it, loyalty with how you feel when you talk about it. I have found that loyalty versus discipline and hard work and commitment, when I focus on loyalty, those other things happen as a byproduct. Because when I focus on loyalty, what I have found, and what I have found with working with my clients as well, is that loyalty to my desire, almost a byproduct of that, ends up being devotion. Mm-hmm. So instead of treating your desire like something that's paining you, like something that you need to avoid, or especially if you're somebody who's been almost like obsessively into the self-growth world and obsessively in the personal work and the soul work and, la 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 la. Is that you can get so focused on automatically trying to fix things that your soul work becomes this act of doing. Instead of an act of trusting, being, and receiving. It becomes this thing where you start to try to do all the heavy lifting yourself in the form of almost obsessive self-development. So, instead of working harder and disciplining harder and confronting the big old shadows and overcoming the mountains and the hills and passing your initiations, what if all you needed was to practice loyalty to your desire just by returning to it, just by tending to it, just by paying attention to it, just by loving to it, just by being in relationship with it, without it needing to do anything for you, without expectations? How about you practice connection to your desire without attachment? There's a lot that's been confused in the world in terms of like need. This is another very misapplied concept in the currently found. So a very misunderstood concept in the world is the idea of need. And need being related to desperation and want. You see this playing out in the world of relationships, right? This idea that I have to make sure I don't need something or else I'll alienate it. Your need doesn't alienate desire or the fulfillment of your desires. You're allowed to have need. However, detachment, that is the teaching that has gotten confused with the idea of you can't need and you can't focus on your longing and you're not allowed to need things. But I wanted this to be 10 minutes or less. I wanted this to be a very simple and short message all about desire. I said I was committed to 21 lives. I think we have, after this one, we'll have 17 left. And with this one, I just wanted to remind you or invite you. This is really an invitation to allow things to be easy. And instead of trying to tackle and climb the mountain, or 18 mountains for that matter, and every day being about the Mount Everest of your limitations and your self-judgment and whatever, what if all I did was practice loyalty to my desire with my thought, my word, and my deed? That's it. Almost like a living meditation. Oh my God. And what if, return to my desire. But what if I can't, and the last time that I wanted this, and every time that I want, just going to return to my desire. But if I can't, and the thing is, and I'm not let me just return to my desire. What does that desire look like in action? If you're in pain, you're not connected to your desire. There might be pain around it, around the longing for it, but the desire itself should not be painful. And I have found in my work, working with, a couple hundred women by now, that most people, and some men, that most people who are having trouble sitting with desire are sitting with that tension, but not the desire itself. And that's why it's uncomfortable, and that's why it's painful, and that's why it's not working. And that's why it's not leading to vision and clarity and steps and intuition and divine impulse, and that's why you're not able to stay heart-centered and hopeful, and you're falling into lack. It's because you're not connecting to the desire itself. So, try that. That's it. That's my message today. Short, sweet, and simple. If you have any requests for these upcoming lives that I am doing, if you would want to find out how to work with me, if you'd like to book a session, if you just want to have a conversation to find out about mentorship, if you're interested in our upcoming retreat in Tulum, we would love to have you. If you're interested in the healing membership, the first energy clearing that I'll be performing for people is going to be Friday morning. So please reach out. I am actually so sleepy already, so I'm going to bed now, and I will check my inbox in the morning. I love you. Now go do the thing that scares you.